Mascara is very, very important because that makes all the eyelashes and the shape of a doll with those kind of very defined eyelashes.
She's put on mascara and
It's slightly, yes.
And then sometimes she puts on lipstick depending on an outfit.
Depending on the outfit.
With a budget of just a little bit over $140 million, when Barbie released into theaters, I think a lot of people thought at first it was for little girls who loved the doll. After seeing the trailer time and time again, it finally caught my attention.
The transition between Barbie Land and the real world is a series of transportation vehicles that get us there, kind of like in this 2D endless tracking shot.
It was even sort of using these old silent movie film techniques. It looked like a Carl Zeman movie.
And so I went ahead and saw what all the hype was about, and turns out some scenes from the film caught me off guard emotionally, but I understood just why this film was so popular, especially achieving over $1 billion in the box office.
Then when we get to the real world, Ken brings patriarchy back to Barbie Land. We didn't have denim and lycra before in Barbie Land.
This isn't like any cul-de-sac that I've ever been on. It's very, very pink. It's a little bit more pink than I've ever seen in my life, but I love just how like glittery and sparkly it is.
I didn't realize so many shades of pink existed in the world.
Today we wanted to talk a little bit about how this film came together and reveal some behind the scenes information and cut scenes.
We remade about 4 different wigs to try and find the perfect look. So it's taken us a long time. And we came up with 2 very strong looks for her because she kind of develops as the story goes on.
But before we get into more of these moments, some trivia for you. We have learned that Amy Schumer was considered at one point to play the role of Barbie, but what other actress was also considered? Leave your guesses in the comments down below and stick around to the end of the video to find out if your answer was correct.
When I first heard it was going to be Margot, it was obviously amazing because she is such an incredible actor. We started discussing what makes a doll, what makes our language, how to approach it, with none of us knowing what it may be.
Let's do this. In the beginning stages of the film, interestingly enough, they were trying to figure out how they wanted to perceive Barbie in terms of if they should contour the arms to make it actually look like a doll.
So for Anna, it was about referencing her heritage. We had to do some research into how to construct a Filipino sleeve. We made a dress that she was really pleased with and that she felt would make her mother cry.
Starting 6 months before the filming, Primark, along with Barbie director Greta Gerwig and costume designer Jacqueline Duran, embarked on a fact-finding mission to get inspired by all kinds of Barbies from years past by sourcing books on vintage Barbie dolls.
It's exactly like what the real doll had back in the 70s. But obviously, the standout thing is the boobs.
May I?
Okay.
Watch this. Ah! Her boobs grow. Why would they do that?
To do the growing up skipper effect, we had an inflatable rig, which was a lot of fun.
It was a huge research process. There was a lot to discover, but it was all fun. And that's what was so delightful about the project, says Primark.
I think what it needs to be, so they're making Margot's wigs to have more.
Oh yeah, yes. This still feels too yellow.
Yeah.
Of course, having the impossible hair is such a Barbie thing, and so we just these amazing, gorgeous wigs.
The team went through a few different concepts before settling on the one that best sold the Barbie look on screen, from giving all the dolls a uniform design to giving a more plasticky look to the actor's skin.
I felt like I was a miniature little doll in the real dream houses.
One of the wonderful things about shooting here on all these big sound stages is that we were able to really create that world.
So the fact that all of this is practical and has been built does a lot for the cast. Walking on and seeing, wow, this is really the world.
What we realized is that Barbie represents each person in a way that is a perfect version of each person, explains Primark.
The first time I stepped on set, I was just in awe because down to every detail, it's Barbie, and the specifics just make you happy and it makes you feel good to be on that set. It makes you feel like a Barbie.
But real quick, make sure you guys check out our Instagram page, linked down in the description. There's a ton of interview moments and memes, so make sure you check it out and give us a follow.
Jacqueline would create like a perfect day look, but then when Barbie goes to the beach, it's the same material but a different outfit. Hi, Barbie.
The gingham costume is based on the idea of the perfect beach costume in the early 60s, which is heavily influenced by Brigitte Bardot.
We get to see some behind the scenes of how they wanted to get the makeup look done right by Margot and how she should be seen by the audience.
Simple eye with simple natural eye shape is what's most doll-like. Simplicity is just what makes your eye look bigger. The flatness of the whole makeup and the perfection of it all without too much contouring, that was quite important. It's very, very simple and clean. And that, to me, in my mind, that's what dolls look like.
Everyone used their own personal skincare routine and makeup with the note that each Barbie was supposed to look as fresh, natural, and classic as possible, giving the dolls a look outside of time.
The beach sequences was one of the most difficult to kind of crack, actually, because we're in a place that has no water, so it's toyed.
There's no wind, so the sand never ever bothers you. We've got signs that say swim with sharks and every day is a happy swimmer's day. I mean, everything is perfect about a Barbie beach.
Spending at least a year just on the hair and how everyone's hair should be and if there should be wigs involved. And Ivana even had a wig made for Margot, and they struggled to find the right shade of blonde to make it believable that it was that plastic Barbie hair that everyone knows.
What are you doing here? That racing suit that Ken wears that has the Barbie bees on it, Ryan just came up with that on his own. That was his creation.
It's interesting to hear that even though Margot had blonde hair herself, they transitioned the character to have multiple shades and looks throughout, so they had to give her different wigs for certain scenes.
I never could have imagined this. Thank God they did. There's room for everyone to be more whole and more rounded.
Going into the scenes with the beach, they actually built the entire set, and it was tricky to build and make realistic in terms of being in the Barbie world.
Everything looks like sweets. So the mountains are painted like cocoa truffles, and the rock looks like raspberry meringues.
There were some images of the storyboards before the finished film with cards labeling the scene's title, including scenes that didn't make it into the final film, with some labeled Mattel Building for Rent, Key Toys Returned, Barbie Can Save Us, and more.
We also had the headband and the boxing boots, tracksuit. The last piece of the puzzle was the leather waistcoat. An even later addition was adding the fringe to the shoulder.
Margot Robbie and Greta Gerwig actually wanted to include a joke in Barbie about Margot and Emma Mackey looking similar in real life, but the joke was cut after they got into costume and realized that they didn't look that similar as their respective Barbies.
Rather like sort of David Attenborough doing a narration on a nature film. I'm the wise and knowledgeable and objective voice telling the story of Barbie.
Where else would I get to play half man, half fish?
My big guy is thirsty. It's just been a lot of fun. I'm a big fan of the hair. It reminded me of how much I used to love playing dress up as a kid.
There was even a point where they wanted to have Margot Robbie's Barbie and Ken kiss, but we're trying to figure out the logistics of how that would work and what that would actually look like.
And so distinct from the real world.
We had a vision of old filmmaking techniques, and as reference points, we watched a lot of old movie musicals.
I love the sort of interiority of those musicals and how they are authentically artificial.
It was good that they decided to take this one out considering, but according to another storyboard image, they thought about having a post-credit scene of Midge in labor.
You can choose what horse you would like.
This is a lot of pressure. Is there a horse that doesn't look like it's desperate to be chosen? Look at this. There's no eyes.
It was believing that actually bringing so many ugly items into a set actually forms its own beauty, which was a bit of a breakthrough.
And as far as the answer to our trivia question, following Amy Schumer's exit from the Barbie project in 2017, but before it moved to Warner Brothers, Anne Hathaway was considered to play the leading role.
You just cut to us on a tandem bike, and that's a practical set. None of it's CGI, and it's just presentational as if you were watching a play.
This is the tandem set, so we've got a 12-seater bike, so we've got the static backing, we've got a kind of a land piece which is on rails, and the windmills spin.
But we wanted to turn this around to you guys. What were your thoughts on all these moments and behind the scenes? And do you think there is a future with more of the Mattel toys like this one? Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Make sure you're subscribed with notifications on for more videos just like this. That's it for today though. We'll see you all next time with a brand new video. Bye guys.
I just felt so pretty every day. I felt so pretty as Barbie. Just like with the wigs and all this hair and professionals doing your makeup and just, yeah, really, I felt great every day.
And that's a wrap. Yeah!